I think that's when the world started saying, look, we're going to have to start putting tariffs on a whole bunch of stuff. Now, the interesting part about Trump term two and Trump term one is that the Chinese went into Trump term one and had no idea what they were doing. I mean, they were crossing the stream and feeling the stones, as the saying goes, and walking blind into this. It didn't have a game plan. By the second time, I think that they felt that they were more prepared to deal with a high tariff environment. So you had higher tariffs. They were prepared for it. They were prepared to take some pain. A lot of the tariff numbers that were announced very early on never came to pass. So I think there was a time in the spring when we were dealing with 145% announced tariffs. You didn't have that for very long. You had a stoppage of commerce. Basically, no Chinese products are cost competitive over about 55, 60% tariffs. So that the cake, the fluff on top of this between 60, 70% and 145% was nothing. Commerce had already stopped. Direct imports had already stopped. So at that point, you had transshipment continue, but essentially for those few weeks, which really was just weeks, you had bilateral commerce stop, and then everybody ratcheted down the tariffs. President Trump did, President Xi did. This is the new norm. I think this is the most important part of the whole tariff discussion. Is it pleasant for China to have high tariffs? No. But can it sustain these levels indefinitely without a major problem? Yes. It's one of the reasons why I wrote an article back in the fall, which I think is Googleable, called "The U.S.-China Trade War is Dead. Long live the Supply Chain War." And the point of that was essentially that high U.S.-China tariffs, and they may go down from here. You could see them go down in April, for instance, again. They're still at a higher than historical rate, but they're sustainable indefinitely at these rates. They're not going to cause a crisis on the U.S. side. They're not going to cause a crisis on the Chinese side. Basically, Beijing has come to the conclusion that they're willing to accept these. This is the world they're living in now, and they're doubling down on transshipment. So basically, shipping some of their products through third parties. And they'll get around them in some cases, and they'll export to other locations in other places. But essentially, we're in a new universe where tariffs are very high. They may come down a little, but they're going to probably remain high bilaterally. And so this is the new U.S.-China economic relationship. It's painful, but it's not painful enough to change things on the ground. And so that's where we really are from a tariff perspective.